What's up, guys? We are coming to you live today from the Blackout Tinting Miami location. So, yeah, things are getting real down here in Florida. I have met a lot of you guys already because of the shop and because of the YouTube channel, but we're here in Hollywood, right between Fort Lauderdale and the Miami area. So if you're in the area, stop by, check us out. It's definitely cut above the rest when it comes to quality. So if you're interested in getting anything like this done to your car with the XPEL ceramic coating, paint protection film, or even window tint, feel free to stop by. Even if you're not, feel free to stop by, hang out, chat it up. We're here for you. But anyway, guys, today's upload or live video is going to be about, of course, the C8 Corvette Z06. So you guys already know I'm pretty passionate about this car. I actually flew down to this area on the 28th pretty much just to see the car. I did have to come here for some work here at Blackout Tinting, but for the most part, I came in to check out that Z07 package that was down at Bomden Chevrolet. I made a video about it. You guys probably have already seen it, but after seeing it in person, I can tell you one thing. I am super pumped for the car. I cannot wait for this thing. It is going to be absolutely awesome. So if you guys haven't seen it yet in person, do yourself a favor and go to your local dealership and see if they're getting the dealer tour of the Z06, because you're definitely going to want to see it. But anyway, we got a lot of information to cover today. There's been a lot of leaks and news that have come out over the past week for the car. I'm thinking I'm kind of waiting for a lot of this information to kind of gather up so we can do these live videos. I love talking to you guys and doing all this stuff live with you. So if you love it as much as I do, smash that thumbs up button so we can keep doing this stuff. I really like interacting with you guys, and I like talking about the news because I'm as pumped about this car as you are. But let's see. We got some questions rolling in already. Yeah, so we got some questions about where the track time and road test videos are at. So the Nürburgring apparently just reopened, and Chevy is not there yet. So I'm assuming they're either going to be there, or it's possible they did already get their information that they needed for that car. They just haven't released it yet. But what we're going to do, guys, I'm going to flip the camera over here and we're going to start talking about some of the information that's available right here on the web. A lot of it comes from our friends over at the Corvette Blogger, and some of it comes to us from our friends at the Mid-Engine Corvette Forum. So let me flip the camera here. This is going to be the first little bit we're going to talk about. So right on the Corvette Blogger, the big one that stands out to me is somebody driving the Z06 managed to curb the carbon fiber wheels already. Now, you guys know the carbon fiber wheels are going to be an expensive option, and sure enough, this person has managed to curb them. Now, I actually read through this article, and some of the pictures suggest to me that this might not actually be someone who curbed it. For any of you guys out there who have put tires, especially really wide tires, on really wide wheels, you'll know that there's actually a special soap kind of mixture that they use to make sure that the tire glides over top of that rim instead of scratching it. I think that's what we're looking at here. Now, I could be totally wrong. Either way, if those are curbed, it's an expensive mistake. David Wooten asked if these could be repaired, and they can. Carbon fiber, exposed carbon fiber can be repaired. It is just a costly and not exact science type of a fix. So if this is curbed, this would be a very difficult fix. It could be done, but it's going to be difficult, and it's probably never going to look perfect. Now, like I said, I don't think that this is curb. I actually think this white we're looking at here is actually the soap residue that they use to put tires on those wheels, but I'm not 100% sure given the quality of the picture is not that great. So USA Pure Power says, good afternoon. I was wondering how much would your business charge to ceramic coat a 2022 or a 2023 Camaro ZL1 1LE? Wow, we would really like to see that car in here. So if you're in the area, USA Pure Power, please stop by. There's me and one other guy that works here. His name's Patrick. We are gigantic fans of the ZL1 1LE. I'd love to see that car. If you stop in, we'll be able to get you a price right off the bat as well. Red Rum wants to know the price of the Z06. It seems like we're going to be starting right around $90,000 before options. So the number that I've heard a couple times from other GM salesmen is somewhere between 87 and 89. S. Young says, sorry, late to the show. Hey, Better late than never, buddy. I appreciate you coming nonetheless. Even if it is a little bit late, that's totally fine. I appreciate all of you guys being here to chat it up with the C8 Z06. Charles Everett says you might get to it soon, but was wondering if pricing will come after the order date or before. So, Charles, the pricing is going to come before the order date. Now, that is one of the things we're going to talk about today, because there is a possibility that the dates that we were talking about, the pricing and everything coming up, is only going to be for the 2023 C8, not the Z06 yet. But we're going to talk about that in 1 second. USA Pure Power says he's from Jacksonville. That's awesome. If you wanted to make the trip, why don't you send me an email first? My email is horse.power.obsessed@gmail.com. If you send me some of your information, I will get with the guys here and get you a price, and then I'd love to see the car if you want to bring it in. Bryson Saunders says, when are they starting production? That's something else we're going to talk about in 1 second. So let me get back to this real quick here, guys. Like I said, this is a possible curbed exposed carbon fiber wheel, which will be an expensive repair if they can even repair it. But I don't think it's actually curbed. I think that's just a soap mixture they use to change the tires. A lot of pictures on this particular article from Corvette Blogger shows actually the hypersonic gray with the base Z06 wheels there instead of the carbon fiber ones. Some of the engine shots here that don't have the engine appearance package, but do have the 70 down here in the bottom of the glass, which is pretty cool. And then, of course, we got the red Z06 with some of the Z07 stuff on it, but this is one of the only ones that I've seen in the wild, so to speak, that has racing stripes on it as well. So pretty cool. We're getting to see some of the more advanced options on this car running around as they're testing these things. Again, another shot of the base Z06 wheels, but that's pretty much it. So I'll leave it up to you guys. If that looks like it's curbed, to me, I think it's the soapy solution, but it could go either way, like I said. But moving on, we're going to go to the next little bit. This was something that in the last live feed I did, somebody asked about, and I wanted to address it because I like to keep you guys up to date. I like to answer all of your questions, even if I can't answer them at the exact moment that you ask it. So someone asked me about the clear see-through thing that someone was developing on the Corvette forum that would allow you to see the mid-engine of the convertible C8. And this is it here. So if you guys are interested, you can actually go to the CorvetteBlogger.com and get some more information on this, but you can ultimately have this developed for your C8 Corvette convertible that will allow you to be able to see the engine when the hatch is up and the top is being folded in. Max price on the Z07 package, give it a guess. I think it's going to max out right around $150,000. I was able to go to Rick Hendrick in Duluth, Georgia to see the Z06 in person. I absolutely love it. I totally agree. I saw the Z06/Z07 package down here in Miami, in Florida, and seeing it in person is nothing like seeing it in pictures. It is one of the nicest looking cars. It looks so supercar, it's not even funny. How you doing, Marvin? Thanks for tuning in. Best way to spend a Sunday afternoon. Thanks, Justin. You're very welcome, Ryan. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you guys all turning this on whenever I go live with this stuff. I love talking about the C8 Z06, and it seems like you guys might love it too, and that's awesome. If you do love it as much as I do, please hit that thumbs up button so we can make sure this video gets circulated to as many other Z06 enthusiasts as possible. Base wheels are nice, much better than the base Stingray wheels. Totally agree, Phil. Drew Packard says, good information, Justin. I appreciate that, Drew. Thank you for your support. Thank you guys all for being here. Like I said, it's a Sunday, and I know you guys probably have better things to do than sit here and listen to me yammer on about a C8, but I appreciate you being here with me. Glass window looks great for the hardtop convertible. Hope they have a revised one for the Z06. They probably will. I think it's being made by just a random enthusiast. There's Amber. So, guys, my wife is the first one with a super chat today. She says, thank you so much for all the great info. HPO knows his stuff. Thank you, Amber. I appreciate that. So, guys, super chat is something that you can do if you feel like you would like to. It actually helps the channel grow, and, of course, I appreciate it hugely if you decide you want to do that. Peter says, I can't wait to get mine. I agree. The Z06 is definitely awesome. I'm pumped for it myself. Shaq says, thanks for all the wonderful information, brother. You're welcome, Shaq. Thank you for tuning in. Ryan says, have you decided on the Z06 color? I haven't decided 100% yet, but I'm still leaning heavily towards black or the carbon flash. But anyway, guys, I'm going to go back to this real quick. The pics here for the CorvetteBlogger.com kind of shows you what we're looking at with the see-through engine bay cover for the convertible. It says, C8 Corvette convertible owner creates a see-through window to see his LT2 V8 engine. So like I said, this is created by an enthusiast. This is not necessarily a company that's doing this, which is really cool. John Elegant, what's up, man? I'm actually going to be talking about your forum here in a second. Love your enthusiasm for the Z06. It's spectacular looking. We all look forward to more GM released info. I totally agree, John. It's going to be awesome. Can't wait to get the car. I know you're excited for it, too. You're getting one as well. Hopefully we can cruise sometime. That'd be cool. Verdis Johnson says, any horsepower increase for the C8? What will be the base price for the Z06? I have not seen anything saying any kind of horsepower increase for the base C8. The Z06 is likely to start right around 90,000 before options. Stack says, is the Z07 going to have a different suspension setup with the lighter CF wheels? The Z07 package is a slightly stiffer suspension package than the base Z06. So with the C7 Z06 and the C7 Z07 package car, there was a much bigger difference between the two as far as stiffness in the suspension. With the C8, the difference is not as radical, but there is still a difference there. Charles says, wondering if you had a best guess on the cost of the carbon wheels. Yeah, I think the carbon wheels are going to be right around $10,000. I think with the way GM prices things, I think it's going to be literally $9,995. Will we see you at the National Corvette Museum Bash next month? I am going to do my absolute best. I've been trying to get down there for the last 2 years. One of my friends goes down there every single year, and he keeps telling me that I need to make it down. So I think I'm going to be there this year. Don't quote me on it, but I'm going to do my absolute best. And guys, here we go again with Mike Matarazzo. So he's the salesman there at Click Lewis, hooking the Horsepower Obsessed channel up again. He donates the second super chat. Mike, thanks so much for tuning in. I appreciate it. We were actually just talking about you today. Andy was here, and we were discussing how awesome of a guy you are, believe that or not. David says he agrees on the price. So, guys, I'm going to go through this a little bit more here. The picture is pretty cool. If you have a convertible, this is a really cool way to show off your engine, and it can be done apparently relatively cheap. This is just an enthusiast that did this. This is not a company that makes this. So, if you guys want to follow along on any of this stuff, this is available right on the CorvetteBlogger.com. You can get on there and actually see all of this information in the flesh, so to speak. So another angle of it shows literally, it looks like plexiglass to me, which is pretty cool because it's going to allow you to see in there without really giving up too much with heat resistance. So it looks like this user's name is Falcon F7. And he also replaced the engine support rails with a bright aluminum rail to kind of dress it up even further. That's pretty cool. That's really neat. I like what he's doing here because it's kind of making the best of both worlds here, where you get to see the engine bay and it's also convertible. USA Pure Power says, 2 Z06 questions. Would you be able to get the racing stripes on the frunk only? Will there be a carbon fiber option or matching car paint for the boomerang? I would have to imagine you'll probably have to add the stripes yourself if you wanted them just on the front and nowhere else. I haven't seen a carbon fiber option for that boomerang on the side, but I know even with the base C8, there was a lot of aftermarket companies that made them after the fact. All right, guys, so Jonathan Brown is the third one today to donate to the Super Chat. He says, always fun to check out your videos. Thank you for your fine efforts. Jonathan, thank you. I appreciate your support of the channel. I'm more than happy to talk about this stuff all day long. So I appreciate you being here on the channel with us as we grow. Red Rum says, did you leave PA and move to Florida? No. So I am in Florida to set up this business with Blackout Tinting. My permanent residence is still in Pennsylvania. I will spend some time here in Florida, though, because it is snowing and cold in PA, so I'll be bouncing back and forth, but ultimately I reside in PA. All right, guys, so number 5, Grandpa Barney is the 5th one today so far to donate to the Super Chat. He says, just got locked into number 2 at my dealer and $15K over MSRP. Ouch. I'm excited to spend $150K. Wow. That's awesome. Some guys, I mean, it's great that you can get what you want. Some guys are okay paying over MSRP. I'm not one of those guys, but if you want to get what you want and you want it now, I'm happy for you. I'm excited for this car in general, and if you're that excited that you're good paying that much, then you're definitely a car guy. David Wooten says, will the wing be an option without the Z07 package? I doubt it. Probably not straight from GM, but you might be able to get it aftermarket. Will the Z06 be sold in Europe at the same time? GM was pretty big on the fact that they wanted these cars to be available right-hand drive options. So I don't know if it will be at the exact same time, but it will be available over there eventually. Mike Matarazzo says another one. Let's go, HPO fam, and to like and subscribe. So guys, if you could, please go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. It really helps the channel. It will also help make Mike Matarazzo happy, and that cannot be, it can't be talked about too much to make Mike happy. So let's make Mike happy and hit that thumbs up button. But anyway, guys, this is it for the clear engine bay cover here. If you guys want to see more of it, head over to the CorvetteBlogger.com. Check it out. If you have a convertible and you want to make your engine look like that, you can definitely do it. Head over there and click on the CorvetteBlogger.com. So we're going to move on to the next one, which is the 2023 70th anniversary Stingray wheels and black exhaust tips revealed on a transporter. Now, this one is really exciting to me because I did not know, they didn't really talk a lot about this, that the 70th anniversary C8 Corvette was not going to be just a Z06. So it looks like it is in fact going to be an option for the base C8 as well. As you can see here, we have our outside facing exhaust tips and a slightly differently styled wheel for the base C8 70th anniversary edition, which also gives you the black exhaust tips, which is really cool. I'm really happy that GM is giving the option for black exhaust tips finally. It seems like they've heard all of the complaints and now they're going to offer it as an option. So if you guys are sold on the C8 and you don't need a Z06, but you wanted that 70th anniversary, you can get it. It's pretty cool. Like I said, I did not initially know that they were going to offer this in both the C8 and the Z06. All right, Peter Shrink says, do you know anyone that will do custom upholstery, orange leather, and black custom with an orange Z06? I really don't know anybody that does custom leather or custom interior stuff, unfortunately. Ryan says, do you have any plans for mods or leaving it stock? This will be my first car. I think I will leave the exhaust stock. Maybe Sport Cats for even more sound. How's the exhaust sound in person? Ryan, the exhaust sounds really good in person. I would probably be okay leaving it stock, but because I am the kind of person I am, I've already kind of put myself in a position with AWE exhaust where my car will be one of the first ones at their facility, and they'll design their exhaust off of my car. So I will most likely end up with an AWE exhaust on that Z06 as well. So guys, this little bit of information, like I said, CorvetteBlogger.com. You can head over there if you want to read up more about this. But ultimately, the C8 Corvette is available in the 70th anniversary as well. It's not just the Z06. I thought that was pretty interesting. And the fact that they're giving you the black exhaust tips now as an option. But we are going to move on to the next little bit, which is the Carbon Revolution celebrating 50,000 wheels being built. And their 50,000th wheel is going on a 2023 Corvette Z06. So you guys know these wheels, the carbon fiber wheels for the Z06, are actually being built by Carbon Revolution. They are not made by GM. They're made by another company and then put on GM's car. So they have now made 50,000 carbon fiber wheels. All right, so USA Pure Power says, I am from Latrobe, PA, so I'm very familiar with your blackout tinting location in Latrobe. Next time I'm there, I will stop by and say hi. That's awesome. I appreciate that. Like I said, if you want to bring that car down, we are all gigantic fans of that. And okay, guys, so number 6 for today, Ralph Cruz, coming in with a big super chat. Thank you so much, Ralph. I appreciate you being here for all of these live videos. You're single-handedly supporting the channel, and it's fantastic. I appreciate it so much. Charles Everett says, will the pearl white paint be an option for the non-70th anniversary Z06? So, Charles, the leaked part guide for the C8 Z06 kind of indicated that the carbon flash color and the pearl white were going to be an option outside of the 70th anniversary. It didn't come right out and say that, but it hinted at it, because it didn't say that there needed to be any other specific options checked for it to be applied. So I think you're going to be able to get those colors outside of the 70th anniversary. How much more is the C8 70th anniversary from a regular Z06? Just a guess. If I had to guess, probably between $5,000 and $8,000. Usually there are special packages from GM or somewhere in that price range. Is there any leaks about the Nürburgring time? There has not been. Nothing even remotely official, but I really feel like for this car to make sense, it's pretty much got to be under 7 minutes. Yeah, so Ralph Cruz, Mike Matarazzo likes what you're doing here too, supporting the channel. It's a fantastic thing, guys. I really appreciate all of you being here. Like I said, the super chat's something you can use if you feel like you want to. Anything that is donated goes right back into the channel. So, guys, again, CorvetteBlogger.com, talking about the carbon revolution and their wheels for the Z06. These things are gorgeous in person, by the way. I got to see them up close and personal. They are really special pieces. They are works of art. You can get a little bit of a better image of it right here. The way that exposed carbon fiber just pops is absolutely insane. I love it. But, yeah, so Carbon Revolution's making the wheels for the Z06, and they have just hit 50,000 made. And, of course, that 50,000th one will go on to a Z06. Probably I would imagine one of the very early ones being built. So, again, CorvetteBlogger.com. We're going to move on to the next article. David Wooten wants to know if this wheel is a two-piece design. It is not. That is a one single-piece design there. Next piece of information, again, coming from the CorvetteBlogger.com. Now, this one was really interesting, guys. I read about this, and immediately I was kind of reminded of how special this car is going to be. So the C8 Corvette Z06 has a really awesome engine. We all know it's the flat plane crank V8, but it actually does not share any parts with any other GM engine. Now, this article goes into further detail and actually talks about the fact that not only does it not share parts with any other GM engine, but it is very likely to not share parts with any other engine, period. So not just GM stuff. This engine is extremely special and something that's designed almost one-off. So it's an interesting read. There's a lot to read here, but ultimately, like I said, if you go through and just kind of skim through it, you're going to see the big one is that, in fact, there may truly be no other engine exactly like the Z06 anywhere on the planet, according to the GM chief engineer, Jordan Lee. That's huge, guys. So we are literally getting an engine in the C8 Z06 that literally is so special and so amazing, it literally doesn't exist in another car. There's nothing like it anywhere else. So I think you got to let that soak in for a second. You got to let that resonate, because what that means is this car is going to be something insanely special. And whenever I read stuff like this, it doesn't quite hit home how cool this car is going to be until you start really diving into the details like this. The engine is literally only going to be available in a Z06. So if you buy any other car out there, nothing is going to have something even remotely like this. And that's really cool. That is really, really an awesome thing. But like I said, guys, there's a lot to read here. It's over on the CorvetteBlogger.com if you want to dive real deep into it. That's just kind of my very, very high overview. Bryson Saunders wants to know, will you be able to twin turbo the LT6? If I had to guess, it probably wouldn't be a great idea, because typically with these kind of engines, it probably has a pretty high compression ratio to begin with to create the amount of power that it does without a turbo or supercharger, so probably not. I mean, I guess I should say I probably wouldn't recommend it, but anything can be done for the right amount of money. So if you really wanted to do it, you could probably get it done. DK says, hi from Canada. As a previous C7 Z06 owner, I'm looking forward to the C8 Z06. Had my $5,000 down 1.5 years ago. 10th on the list at the dealership. Crossing fingers I get one in the next year. Number 10 is pretty high up there. You'll probably get one in the first wave, if I had to guess, depending on the size of your dealership. Ralph Cruz says, will there be extended warranty for the carbon fiber rims that would cover potholes and curb damage? I'm sure there probably will be, but that will be obviously additional onto the cost of your car in total. Probably something done at the final step of financing at a dealership. If you bought it strictly for drag racing, do you think the Stingray or Z06 would be better for an 1/8 or quarter-mile racing? Keep in mind you wouldn't be able to mod the Z06 well. Honestly, I don't think that the Z06 is going to be built much for the drag strip at all. The Z06 has always been a track car. Even the base C8's not really built for the drag strip. It's more of a track car, but everybody likes to take these things to the drag strip and the track if they can. I've taken mine to the drag strip a couple times, and I can tell you it is a blast. It's not designed for the drag strip, and you're reminded of that in a bunch of different ways, but at the same time, it's still fun. So if I was building it specifically for the drag strip, I'd probably start with the base C8. Now keep making them to gain third-party support, all about the numbers. I like the new C8 Z06, especially the Z07 package, but the GM is being coy on the pricing. Yeah, they are. They know the price points already. I just wish they would do what Ford is about to do with their EV division. Let's hope they don't let this LT6 engine die after little use with EVs coming up. So, guys, they've already hinted at the fact that the LT6 engine is not going to be put into any other car. So the C8 Z06 is going to be the only car that ever gets this engine. And we just talked about how rare this engine is going to be and how special it is. So it's rare, it's special, and it's only going to be in a Z06. It's not going to be shared amongst anything else in the GM lineup, and that's cool. But at the same time, it is going to be a really, really marvelous piece that is possibly going to be underappreciated because it was only in one car. There's always two sides to that story, but yeah. So GM on pricing, we're going to talk about that a little bit more in a second, but we've talked about it in the past on this channel. The pricing for the C8 Z06 is very likely to start right around $90,000 before options. So base Z06 will cost you somewhere around $89,995 before you start checking any boxes. What's up, Digital Car Addict? Thanks for tuning in, man. I appreciate that. So as you can see here on the screen, we're talking about how special the Z06 engine is and how it doesn't share parts with anything else in the GM lineup. It's not going to be shared into any of their other cars, and it is unlike anything else that any other car designer or maker uses in any of their cars, which is pretty cool. Do you think they're going to do customer engine builds again? Yes, they are. So GM already said, and you can actually see it here, there's a signature right here, and if you help build your engine, you'll have the signature of the person who built it, and underneath it, you can put your signature if you help build it, which is really cool. I think that's one of the coolest things I've ever heard. So I will definitely be doing that. So David Wooten says, my business is partially not totally tinting windows. What's the legal extreme percentage for Florida? Can you elaborate on the strikes under the Z07 package? So the business is called blackout tinting. It does imply we only do tinting to an extent, but there's obviously much more that gets done here. A lot of the XPEL paint protection and ceramic coatings and the XPEL window tint as well. So the legal limit here in Florida is 35% on the side windows. And on the backs, it goes up higher than that, so, or technically lower. But basically, if you stop in, we can tell you all about what the legal limits are here and where you would want to stay if you want to stay on the right side of the law. But even in Pennsylvania, Pennsylvania is a no tint state. You're not allowed to have tint on your side windows at all. And all of my cars have been tinted and I have never had any issues with being pulled over specifically for window tint. And the strakes on the Z07 package. So guys, if you don't know what those are, there's actually aerodynamic channels underneath the C8 Corvette Z06 that help drive air from the front of the car out the side. So it helps with basically keeping that car planted. You can see them on the car making its tour around the dealerships. They're interesting because the base C8 did not have anything like this, and these are there again to make sure that that car stays planted while on a track. So all it is just basically a plastic rubbery channel that literally carries the air from the front of the car and pushes it out the side near where the door is at. Donovan Shorts asked, does it cost more to build your own engine? Yes, it does. So it is I think on the C7 it was a $5,000 option, but it gets you more than just the ability to help build your own engine. It gets you kind of a tour of the facility. You get to meet the people doing it. You get to see it all in action. I think it's totally worth it. Lance C says PA with their weather, they don't need dark tint usually. Yeah, absolutely. And honestly, I don't tint my windows necessarily because I need to have my windows dark. I do it because the car's black and it looks the best with darker tint. But guys, again, this is on the CorvetteBlogger.com. This goes pretty in depth on why this engine is so special and all that stuff. So if you want to see it in a little bit more detail, head over to the CorvetteBlogger.com and have yourself a nice read. You don't think that the LT6 will be used with electric motors as a hybrid? No. So RT Basie asks if the LT6 is going to be used with electric motors for a hybrid or maybe the ZR1 or Zora. No, I don't think that. And GM, I don't remember who it was now at GM, but they said recently, it was actually on the Jay Leno YouTube video where they were literally driving around in the Z06. They were talking about the fact that this LT6 is not going to go into any other car. So this is a Z06 engine only. It's not going to end up into any other car, and that includes any other Corvettes. I do believe that the next car is going to be our E-Ray, which is going to be the 6.2 liter engine out of the base C8 with a hybrid assist motor on the front. And I think after that, we're going to be getting a Zora. I think it's going to skip over the ZR1, and we're just going to go straight to the Zora this time. And there's a really good chance that Zora ends up being fully electric. Yeah, okay, so it was confirmed it is $5,000 to build your engine on the C7, but they also mentioned that if you're there helping, it would mean that the builder would have to spend a full shift on one engine. That means that the engine builder would only get one built when, if they weren't doing it that way, they would have 2 or 3 built. So basically, you have to pay the extra money because you're slowing down the production to make your experience a little bit more special. Charles Everett says, Justin, when will the dealers know their allocations? I believe it's going to be towards the end of this month. So we're about to talk about that right now. So guys, the engine, go over to CorvetteBlogger.com if you want to hear a little bit more about this. But let's move on to the next topic, which is going to be the 2023 Corvette model year pricing to be announced on March 23rd. So we've talked about this a couple times, guys. Pricing is going to be announced on the 23rd. Originally, it said the 24th, but now I guess we're on the 23rd. Now, what you want to really focus on in this particular article is the fact that they're talking about the 2023 Corvette model year. They're not talking specifically about the Z06 or specifically about the base C8. But the fact that they're not mentioning the Z06 specifically kind of tells me this might only be for the base C8 Corvette. Now, if we scroll down here a little bit more, we can see that they're talking about questions on whether or not the Z06 is going to be delayed at the start of the model year 2023 production. So what that tells me is basically your 2023 C8 Corvettes are going to be produced right around that time frame, but without specifically talking about the Z06, there's no guarantee that we're going to get pricing or any allocation info at the end of this month like originally suspected. Now, this doesn't clarify, this doesn't say 100% that it's not going to happen. It's odd that GM's wording would not specifically include the Z06. So they sum it up here with saying, so with the focus of today's memo being Stingray specific, might we be looking at a delayed launch of the Z06 that will commence sometime after the expected May 9th startup for the 2023 model year? I've been trying to be optimistic about this, but I keep harking to the fact why GM or why Chevy would move up the 2023 model year start if it wasn't ready to build Z06s on day one. That's kind of my thought process on it too. I really feel like it doesn't make a whole lot of sense for GM to start building a 2023 model year without including the Z06, but who knows? They might have something up their sleeve. Now, if we move on to the next one, which is going to be not on the Corvette blogger, but on the mid-engine Corvette forum.com, we're going to start talking about more so opinions, but these opinions make a lot of sense. So originally, it was going to be on the 21st of March, we were going to get the online build tool. So basically you go in there and build your 2023 model year C8 Corvette. If you're building that online on the 21st, that means pricing has to be available online on the 21st as well. So that has been moved up, it looks like, until the 23rd. Now on the 24th of March, we were supposed to start being able to order these cars. Again, the 2023 C8 Corvette, not necessarily the Z06. But if they stay true to what makes sense, we would be able to see the pricing for the Z06 and start ordering the Z06 on those dates as well. But that's when we come over to the mid-engine Corvette forum and start talking about the Z06 production starting in summer and not on May 9th like the 2023 base C8 Corvettes will likely be starting. So there's a question in the chat here that says, is the Z06 production being pushed back? I don't want to say that. It actually says specifically in this forum thread to not say that because it doesn't necessarily mean that, but it kind of looks that way. Before we continue though, guys, if you could please smash that thumbs up button. Let me know you're liking the content so we can keep doing this stuff. I'd greatly appreciate it. It's just that little thumbs up button right underneath the video. Just click that for me so it will help get this video out to as many other enthusiasts as possible. So we're going to go through this. Now, guys, John right here, he is actually basically the founder of this particular forum. And all of his posts are always laid out very methodically and they're thought through in a really detailed manner because he is as crazy about C8 Corvettes as I am and as many of you are. And that's a great thing. But basically what we're doing here is, again, we're talking about the fact that the May 9th start the production of the 2023 C8 Corvette. Is that including the Z06? Maybe. Let's see. So the one big thing that stands out to me here is right here. So from Mike Furman himself, he says, as for the 2023 C8 Corvette Z06, my estimate is much like GM has been stating all along. You won't see the first 2023 Z06 delivered until very late summer 22 at the earliest. Now, what I have kind of put together myself, guys, is I'm thinking personally August. There's a reason why I think August, and I'm going to break it down for you guys here in a second. With the 2020 C8 Corvette, when it went on the dealership tours, it was touring all over the country, and February of 2020 was the last dealership tour. That was also when you started seeing the cars. So people on YouTube and people on the forum started posting pictures of their newly arrived 2020 C8 Corvette. Now, as of right now, the latest dealer tour I can find for the C8 Z06 is August. So I think August is going to be the month that we're going to start seeing the Z06s arriving at people's driveways. It makes sense because of the way it worked with the 2020 C8. I think it's going to apply here too. And the more I read through this article, the more I realize that makes a lot of sense because one of the first comments on it states that the fact that not a single car has popped up with a legitimate VIN is very telling. My guess is August will be the first customer cars that start to be delivered. And guys, I've been saying it's going to be August for a couple months now, and it looks to be a lot of people are starting to catch on to that same idea. So I think August is going to be when we're going to start seeing these Z06s. But even if that is the case, we have to have time to order them. We have to have time to know the pricing. So I still do believe we're going to get that information at the end of this month. So we are about halfway through, a little less than halfway through March. By the end of this month, we have to know pricing. We have to have at least somewhat of an idea of allocations. And we're going to have to know all of the Z06 specific options. So we're going to have that online configurator available by the end of this month. So 17, 18 days at the most, we're going to have a lot of information on this car. All right, so looking over to the chat here, we say, Basie says, price of a Z06 does not bother me. It's getting one. Yeah, that's definitely an issue. The price, depending on what dealership you go to, you might be able to find one at MSRP. If you go to Click Lewis in Palmyra, Pennsylvania, and talk to Mike Matarazzo or Greg Lewis or really any of the guys there, they will get you a C8 or a C8 Z06 at MSRP. Guaranteed. You will pay MSRP for that car. The problem is you could be waiting a while for it. Now, the base C8, you won't wait as long, but with the Z06 and the demand for that car right now, you are looking at probably at least a year before you'd get one. I have $430,000 cash in various bank accounts, and I wish I cared about supercars in my 30s like I did in my 20s. I don't know why you wouldn't care about supercars. I would care regardless how much money I have in my bank account. But Digital Car Addict says, I wonder if they'll offer a C8R edition for the 2024 model year Z06. I was actually thinking that same thing. The C8 Z06 already looks a lot more like the C8R, so the C8R edition car makes more sense to exist with the Z06 than it did with the base C8 anyway. I thought that they might do something like that too. That'd be pretty cool. This guy says the hype will run out once they start making 18,000 C8 Z06s per year. So GM's flat out said that they're told to make 15,000, not 18. So even at 15,000, that is assuming that they're also churning out the 40,000 base C8s that they're supposedly told to be able to do. They have not hit only a little over half of that number. So if they're not able to hit the base C8 number, there's no way that they're going to hit the Z06 number either, which means the car is going to continue to be rare for at least a couple years. It's going to be hard to get for at least a couple years. This is just the way the world works now, it seems. Mike Matarazzo was a famous old bodybuilder, and oddly enough, I have actually found that out the hard way because I've Googled his name a couple times to try to get his information out to you guys, and every time I Google it, I come up to some bodybuilder guy, so somehow I knew that. Has GM ever produced in 1 year 25,000 Z06s? No. Obviously not for the C8. I don't know about the C7, but if I had to guess, probably not. Dealers out here in Southern California are saying all initial Z06s will be pre-built, no custom builds. Do you agree? When you say no custom builds, do you mean like you're not able to choose your own options, like whether you want level 2 carbon fiber and all that stuff? Because if that's what you're saying, then no, I don't think that will be the case. How much Z06 for the starting price? I think it is going to start at right around 90,000. So 89,995 is likely to be the number that the Z06 starts at before options. The long lead time sometimes results in canceled orders, sometimes no. Yes, Lance, you're right. The long lead time usually results in a lot of canceled orders, but usually when those get canceled, the dealership still keeps the order, and then the car comes in and sits on their floor and then gets marked up beyond belief. So it doesn't really help out the end user much. What was the name of the dealership where you could build your Z06 at MSRP? I know of another one in Northern Virginia, but they're a pretty small dealership. It is called Click Lewis with a K. K-L-I-C-K Lewis. It's in Palmyra, Pennsylvania. If you call in there, let them know Horsepower Obsessed sent you. You can talk to anybody, but the guy I deal with typically is either Mike Matarazzo or Greg Lewis. I do think I'm right, Robert. I really doubt that these cars would be pre-built right off the bat. I think that would be a really bad idea if they do that because there's so many options available for this car that I feel like that's one of the selling points is that you can order this car in one of I think it was 17,000 different configurations. So it's very unlikely your car would look just like mine. And I love that idea. You demand. Thanks, bro. Thank you, Robert. How much do you think a fully loaded Z06 will be? Z07 package, carbon fiber wheels, etc. I think it's going to max out right around $150,000. So I think it's going to start $89,995 after you start checking some options like 3LZ, Z07, carbon fiber, front lip, side skirts, wheels, all that stuff. I think you're looking at right around $150,000. I have a place, they said I'm ordered to get one from Sun Chevy in Pittsburgh, PA. That's cool. One more question. How many Z06s will smaller dealerships get compared to the big ones? The dealership amount of cars that they get is always based on how many they sell. So in this case, they'd be looking at how many base C8s that dealership sold. If they sold 100, they're going to get a percentage of that number for Z06s. So I know Click Lewis and Palmyra, they've sold a good bit of C8s, so they're likely to get probably a good bit of Z06s. The bigger the dealership, the more Z06s they're going to get because they've probably sold more base C8s. People have claimed that regular C8 Corvettes cost $60,000, yet I don't know a single soul who paid $60,000 for their Corvette, even with the 1LT trim. Yeah, so the 1LT non-Z51 was $59 and some change. I do know of at least one person who has paid that. So the thing is GM at 1LT non-Z51, GM is actually losing money on the C8 Corvette, or so they say. I don't know how true that is, but if you follow along, it makes sense. So they priced the car super low for entry purchasers, and they lose money on that because they know that the majority of the people that customize this car are going to check at least one option, and when they do, they're making that money back. So very few of the C8s were sold in a 1LT non-Z51 trim because most people want those creature comforts like heated and cooled seats and all that stuff. I do know of at least one that got their car for that price, though. When will a Z06 begin production? So this particular article here on the Mid-Engine Corvette Forum suggests that the car is not going to start production until June or July. Now, this is not necessarily fact. This is just an opinion, but I happen to agree with this because I do also believe that the car is not going to be available. It's not going to be in people's driveways until August of 2022. Do you have a color paint opinion? I personally am going to go with either black or carbon flash, and with a possibility of hypersonic gray. SoCal King says, you have one of the best Corvette channels out there. Keep it going. Once GM starts doing direct sales to customers, then they change, get away from the dealerships overpricing the cars. I agree. I appreciate the kind words as well. Thank you. This car will obliterate its competition at $150,000. I agree. This car is going to stir up some serious issues in the supercar world because, like it or not at this point, guys, and I know there's going to be some people out there that disagree, what we're looking at right here is a supercar. This thing has every single thing going for it that would make it a supercar. So I really don't know how the argument could be made otherwise. And with that being said, the one thing that does not say supercar about this car is the price. And for the price, you can get a car that will dominate cars that are 2 to 3 times the price of a Z06. That's insane. Are the GT3 seats air conditioned? Is the back area perforated? Yes. So the answer to both those questions is yes. You know how much it's going to cost with the carbon fiber kit option. The exposed carbon fiber is typically only $1,000 more than the carbon flash painted. So the exposed lip, like the carbon fiber splitter and the side skirts, are not going to be an insane amount more money. Any thoughts on the front axle lift going up 20% per year? I know there's a lot of consumer inflation, but I don't believe it's 20%. I don't think, if it goes up 20% sounds like a lot, but we are living in some odd times, so I'm not going to comment on inflation too much. Will the C8 ever get 4-wheel steering? probably not. If I had to guess, that's something that's going to be reserved for future cars like the C9. I know someone who has a silver C8 with only a wheel option. Yeah, so there are some people out there who got that $60,000 car, and they're plenty happy with it, and that's awesome. I'm glad at the end of the day everybody can get what they want with these cars, because these cars are fantastic and everybody deserves to be able to experience it. I heard that the carbon fiber wheels will be $27,000. Is that true? There are some aftermarket wheel companies that sell carbon fiber wheels that I've seen as high as $25,000. But I do believe GM is going to bury that cost somewhere else, and I think they're going to start, the carbon fiber wheels are going to be $9,995, so right under $10,000 option. Your thoughts on the black 70th anniversary edition? I like it. I'm not big on extra badges being slapped on the side of the car, so I don't want to get a 70th anniversary if I don't have to, but I really do like that carbon flash color for the car. I didn't get my C8 in 2020. I'm ready to get my Z06 2023. I have a color and setup I want to work with the Z06. I'd like to work with you when it comes in. Absolutely, man. Send me an email. Just the horse.power.obsessed@gmail.com. We'll work together. I'll bounce ideas off each other. That's awesome. I did that for one of my other friends. I actually made a video of his C8R. I actually chose all of the options for that car for him, and he built it exactly like I spec'd it out for him, and it looks absolutely gorgeous in person. I love doing that kind of stuff, guys. If you need any kind of help or any kind of guidance with that, feel free to shoot me an email. Please urge as possible all to visit the Corvette Museum in Bowling Green, and importantly, NCM membership. I need to hit up the Corvette Museum because I want to push that. I really do, but without any kind of personal experience, on my channel, I never push anything that I don't personally 100% believe in, and I don't have any experience with the Corvette Museum to tell you if I do or don't. I'm sure I will. I'm almost positive I will, but until I do, I don't want to tell people to experience it and that they have to do this, that, and the other without personal knowledge of it. Ryan says, Justin, will you consider hosting an event / meet for your followers / fans in the future? I would love to do that, Ryan. I really would. And I've tried to put stuff together in the past that ends up not working out really well because the followers of the channel are just everywhere. There's not a real central location for everybody. And the only thing I can ever come up with is Corvettes at Carlisle. When I go to Corvettes at Carlisle every year, there is just a massive amount of my subscribers in one area, and it's awesome. It is the best time because we all just sit around and talk about cars for the entire day. It's awesome. I'm open to ideas though, Ryan. If you have something in mind that might help facilitate that a little bit better, I'm totally open to it. Phil Ludo says, is there a date for the E-Ray? There is not anything in stone yet, but if I had to guess, we're going to start to hear something about a year after the Z06 is available. What's up, Brian? What do you think about GM canceling the magnetic ride with the final bills of the 2022 Stingray? I didn't read anything about the magnetic ride being canceled. It might be something that's being held off on until the chip shortage is figured out. Can I please write your email for us hearing impaired? Yeah, I will put that in there for you guys now. It is also in the description. But it will be in the chat here now too. If you guys have any questions or anything, go ahead and feel free to send me an email. My dealership only sold a few C8s last year. Do you think they will get a Z06? It goes off of a percentage, and unfortunately I don't know what that percentage is, but when you said a few, if you're talking about 5 or less, then I would have to say probably not. Can you still pre-order a Z06? So no, there's no pre-ordering happening yet. At the end of this month, we should have more information about that. Just don't fall in any sinkhole. Yeah, that was That was something else there. But they handled that situation really well, I think. They handled that very gracefully. Charles Everett says, the Z06 will be my first Corvette compared to other common supercars like Lambos and McLarens. Does the Corvette sit really low like those cars? I always kind of liked that about exotics. The C8 sits pretty low. It can always be lowered as well because it comes with, it's basically on a coilover setup. If you get with the C8, you'd have to get the Z51 package to do that. With the Z06, it's going to come with that automatically, so you'll be able to lower it in a coilover style. So if it doesn't sit low enough for you, you can always lower it yourself. What's up, 11-second Eclipse? I appreciate you coming late or on time. I appreciate you tuning in. We've talked about a good bit of stuff so far in this video, and we're pretty much done at this point. But once it goes live again, you'll be able to ask any questions, and I'll get you answers just like I am live here. So, General Lee, what's going on, man? What's up, Justin? General Lee here. What do you think the price difference will be for the painted ground effects over the exposed? So, actually, I just talked about that. The exposed carbon fiber and the carbon flash painted front lip and side skirts, the difference between the two on the base C8 and even the C7 was $1,000. So I think that the difference will be about the same here. When will the pricing info be released? It's going to be at the end of this month. So there's a lot of rumors out there right now stating that we're going to have that information on either the 21st or the 23rd. So about 10 days. All right, so Amber with the number 7 super chat of the day. Amber's donating more money to her husband. It's great. She really wants hypersonic gray for the Z06, guys. I'm kind of torn on colors. I'm thinking more black or carbon flash, but she wants the hypersonic gray. What do you guys think? Should I get hypersonic gray? Should I get black? She says hypersonic gray all the way. Hit the thumbs up so HPO can do more live content. That's right, guys. If you're liking what you're seeing, please, that thumbs up button cannot be underestimated. It does a lot for the channel. Good stuff as always, sir. Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate that. Jeff says black, not carbon flash. Hypersonic gray or yellow for me. Gray, smooth, with a little red. Sorry for going on. The museum has cameras to enjoy just so much. That's it. Lance, no, I mean, you're 100% right. I need to get to the museum so I can personally recommend it to people. I really like having the... It's hard to explain exactly, but I don't want to push anything just for the sake of pushing it. I want people to know that if they come here to this channel and they hear me talking about a specific product, that I'm not doing it because someone's paying me to. I'm doing it because I like the product. I have started and stopped recording multiple videos since I've started this channel on products that were sent to me for free that were total junk. I don't want to create a video hammering someone's product into the ground, but at the same time, if it's not good, I'm not going to even put the video out on it. All right, there's a lot of options for gray this time, Amber, so you might be making your argument. Got to keep the wife happy, but can never go wrong with black. That's my man right there. You know what, man? You've convinced me. I'm planning an 18 to 24 month trip around the world from 2023, but I'm going to order a Z06. Should be ready by 2025. Heck yeah, dude. Blue Vet. I didn't see him in here. Did I miss a comment? Oh, there he is. What's up, Blue Vet? Thanks for tuning in. I had a feeling you'd be on here, but I didn't see any comments yet. Hey, Justin, you're still in Miami? Yes, Brian, I am in Miami until Wednesday. I'm leaving, and it's about 80 degrees here today. Phil Ludo says, black is so hard to keep clean. If you get black, you'll have 2 black vets, right? Yes. Normally, you're right. Black is kind of hard to keep clean, but with XPEL paint protection and ceramic coating, it is a lot easier. And I kind of like the idea of having 2 black Corvettes. I don't know. What do you think of the ceramic matrix gray on the Z06? Ceramic matrix gray is a cool color. It's not one that I would personally want just because it doesn't look like the same color 2 days in a row. It's really hard to explain. If you have one day it's going to look gray, the next day it looks more white, and then after that it looks like a slightly different shade of gray. It's really hard to maintain a constant color with that. The color we're looking at here now on that picture is actually Elkhart Lake Blue. I'll be honest with you guys. The C8 Corvette, you cannot get a bad color on this car. But at the same time, there's certain colors that I would personally want to own, and there's certain colors that I wouldn't. I don't think Elkhart Lake Blue is for me. I would be more inclined to do Rapid Blue. It's 28 degrees in Maine right now. It's probably pretty close to that in PA too. What's the difference between black and carbon flash? So I had a feeling I was going to get that question eventually. You guys, black is black. So a black car is literally nothing but black. But Chevy's version of carbon flash is black with a heavy silver metallic flake in it. So it's basically just a metallic flake is the only difference. I miss you too, Amber. I'm coming home on Wednesday. Do you think GM will reinstate the rear park assist and mag ride? Yeah. Thanks, Brian. I appreciate that. I appreciate the support, guys. All of you guys are doing fantastic. I love the support here for the channel. I can't state it enough. I've stated it a couple times in this video, and I still feel like I haven't said it enough. I appreciate all of you guys and what you do here. I do think that GM's going to reinstate that stuff. I think the only reason they've pulled it is because of the microchip shortage stuff. Eventually, that is going to be resolved. But until it's resolved, it is what it is, I guess. Do you put ceramic on it first and then XPEL, or reverse? So you put the XPEL paint protection film on first, and then you ceramic coat over top of that. Robert, if you're talking about the ceramic matrix gray, I don't think that it's a bad color. I think you might have misunderstood what I was saying. For me personally, I don't think I could do it just because of the color shift. I'm weird like that. Stuff in my head has to be constant, and with that shifting color so much, I don't know that I could do it. But it is definitely not a bad color. Carbon flash lives matter. I agree, Brian. Will the 70th anniversary be available for purchase at the same time? Yeah, I do believe it will be. The very first Z06 that was auctioned off is actually going to be a carbon flash painted car. Hope there won't be any options that get removed due to shortages like mag ride for the C8. I agree. I hope that the constraints are kept to a minimum, but I have a feeling the constraints are going to be real with the C8, the Z06. I'd like to see that carbon flash in person. It's funny, Jay. We actually have a Lamborghini Huracan in the shop right now, and it's not called carbon flash, of course, but it's basically carbon flash. It's black with a heavy metallic flake. So if you really wanted to see it in person and you're in the Florida area, you could stop by and take a look at that car. It's going to look just like that. Luke says he just popped in and he hopes he didn't miss any news. We talked about a lot of stuff today, Luke. It will be in this video as soon as it goes live after. Well, as soon as it gets uploaded to the YouTube channel after live, so you can always watch back through. Lance, number 7 on the super chat today. Lance donates some money. I appreciate that, Lance. I think we have to have a conversation. I'm assuming, do you have something to do with the Corvette Museum, or are you just a big fan of it? If you actually work for them in some capacity, I'd love to talk to you. Once the chip problem is resolved, will the waiting time for the Z06 reduce tremendously? I think the waiting time for everything will reduce once the chip issue is resolved. And GM is saying that they've started at least looking into the idea of making those chips in-house. And if they do, that will resolve a lot of issues on that end as well. All right, guys, Brian Greer, number 8 on the super chat today. He's donated some money over to us as well. That's fantastic. Like I said, guys, all of that money goes right back into the channel. I appreciate it so much. Will the 70th anniversary cost more? Yes, I do believe it's going to have a somewhere between $5,000 and $8,000. If I had to guess, typically those special editions cost a little bit more. $1 for you, Justin. Thanks, Brian. I appreciate it. Anyone brave enough to hold off until 2024 and hope that they offer Corvette racing colors instead of Accelerate Yellow? Yeah. I really would like to see that Corvette racing yellow come up. Whatever happened to the strike possibilities. Oh yeah, you know what? I haven't heard anything about that. That's a good point. Phil Ludo asks what happened to the strike possibilities. They were talking about striking at the plant. I didn't hear anything about that either. I'm guessing they settled it. I haven't heard anything more about it. Will the 70th anniversary offer carbon fiber wheels? It looks like it's a package, and the package comes with like a matte black wheel with a red stripe. So you might be able to have a dealership override on it, but based on the package by itself, I don't think it's going to. Ceramic Matrix Gray definitely changes with the environment. You know for sure Blue Ice 2 will be rocking the Ceramic Matrix Gray. Awesome work, Justin. General Lee out. Thanks for tuning in, General Lee. I appreciate it. We need to get together again at Corvette's Carlisle. I've missed you the last couple years there. Luke says he'll watch the video once the feed ends. Thanks, buddy. Got on the list a little while ago. Stingray Chevrolet. They said then it looked like a 2 to 3 year wait. I'm guessing people getting on the list now may wait 3 to 4 years. So, yeah, guys, unfortunately, that's true. Like, the Z06 wait is going to be real. And if you weren't on a list a year or two before this car was announced, you're probably going to be waiting a little while for it. A suggestion for GM, they should road tour the anniversary colors. I like the Anatone white, is it? They should do that, but they're not going to, because by the time those cars are actually built, the car will be available for most people to buy. Brian Grun, number 9 on the super chat list, guys. Brian Grun. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name, but I appreciate your support. That's awesome. Thank you so much. I'm number 253 on McMulkin list. If they announce 24 colors before, yeah, I would defer to 24 as well if Krypton Green was a color. That was the color I was hoping so much to see. I would give an in-depth, highly motivated description of this car on video if I ever got the chance. Yep, same here. What's the difference in 70th anniversary car? It's mostly a badge, different badging on the car, and 2 colors that may only come on the 70th anniversary, and that's carbon flash black and a pearl white. Lance, yes. Lance wants to know if he can ask an acquaintance at the museum to contact me. Definitely. I would love to talk to somebody there. What is the cost of XPEL for an entire car versus front half? Typical cost, front half is usually right around $2,000. The full car is right around $5,000 to $6,000. Gruen. Okay, Brian. I apologize. I got it right now, though. Fred says, I'm number 1 on the list at Serpentini Chevrolet. I'm debating between the black or the orange. Yeah, the orange looks fantastic on this car, especially in the Z07 package. Like I said, guys, you can't get this car in a bad color. Any one of the colors is going to look really good, and honestly, I'm not against the orange either. That might end up happening. David, what is your opinion? Will the 2024 C8 Z06 come with more horsepower? No, I doubt it. Chevy doesn't typically do that unless they change the engine in some way. I know with the C5 Z06, they kind of altered. I think it was mostly just the tune. But I think with this one, they've squeezed pretty much all the power they can out of that flat plane crank. So I would not look for that to happen. Brian says, I'm number 1 on my dealer's Z06 list. They sell about 30 to 40 C8s, hoping they get my allocation. Yeah, if they sold 30 to 40, I would say that they're going to get at least 1 to 3 Z06s, if I had to guess. What do you think the L2 and L3 trim packages will cost? So the 1LT or 1LZ, 2LZ, and 3LZ packages are very likely to mirror the cost of the 1LT, 2LT, and 3LT packages from the base C8. They're very, very likely to be the same price. I told my grandkids that I am 1,085 on Sioka list. They couldn't wait to order it when they're old enough to drive. What is the price of C8 2LT? You can actually look on their builder online, but it's somewhere around 65 grand, I believe. All right, guys, so Robert Minkin wants to know, how do I donate to your channel, please? Wow, that's awesome, Robert. I appreciate you. You can actually do the super chat right here, which would donate to my channel by pressing the little money symbol down there at the bottom right of your phone. Or you could always donate to my PayPal, which is just my email address. I'll put it in here again if you want to see it. But ultimately, guys, any donations like this go right back into the channel. So anytime something is donated, that will go basically to mods and equipment for the channel to keep doing what we're doing here. So anything you donate is greatly appreciated and will definitely factor back into the channel. But for now, guys, I think we're going to wrap this up. One more time, if you liked what you were seeing here, smash that thumbs up button. I really appreciate that. I know you hear that on all the YouTube channels. Anybody's talking about stuff like that, but the thumbs up really helps. It really does. And Robert coming in number 10 on the super chat today. Robert, thank you so much again. Donates to the super chat, help the channel massively. Thank you so much. Guys, head over to the CorvetteBlogger.com if you want to read more about the information we talked about today. I appreciate all of you tuning in. Thank you so much. And I will catch you guys in the next one.